I would like to welcome you all in the lecture series of competitive examination. Here I'm mainly focusing on VTU ETR PhD entrance examination, typically for electrical and electronics engineering students and electrical and electronics engineering candidates. I should say like a candidates. So those who wanted to do PhD in the domain of EEE in VTU, so you need to clear this entrance examination. Fine. So I'm also one of the research supervisor. You can directly contact me, and my mail ID is already given in the description box. So once you clear the examination, if you are interested to do PhD in the domain of power electronics, you can directly reach on me. I have done the PhD in the domain of power electronics. Even I can support you for continuing my research, and I'm interested to guide the candidates. Of course, let us get started. First of all, we'll clear the entrance examination. So I would like to give the important highlights, important concept, and important formulas, which will be really help you to clear the examination. Yes, let's get started. I promise you, if you watch this video completely, surely you can clear the entrance examination without any issue. As everybody know that there are two segments. One is for your research methodology that carries 50 marks. Another one is your core domain, that is EEE. EEE is having 50 marks. Total 100 marks. Out of that, they are going to decide the cutoff. Accordingly, you should clear. Fine. So first of all, as a research methodology, you should go for the basics. What is the meaning of applied research? It is conducted to solve the practical problems. You may get a question related to this. What is fundamental research? It develops new theories or principles. Mixed methodology research. It combines both the qualitative and quantitative methods. There are like a quantitative method. You can go for like a statistical method. Similarly, you can go qualitative method means interview, Delphi technique, etc. Similarly, objectives of research design. Provide the plan for data collection and analysis. You may get any kind of questions based on these keywords. Characteristics of a good research. It should be systematic, objective, and verifiable. So you may get some simple questions, conceptual oriented questions based upon these statements. I request you to revise the statement before going to the examination. Let me move further. Hypothesis and error. Okay, what is hypothesis and error? So suppose you are going to develop a new system. Then you are developing one or two hypotheses saying that these are the probable result. You may put some kind of statement that so and so result will happen. So that is called a hypothesis. So based upon that, we have like a different terminology called errors, type 1 error. Here, rejecting the true null hypothesis, that is called a type 1 error. Type 2 error, accepting false null hypothesis. Please mind these words. Null hypothesis denoted by the letter H naught. It states that there is no significant relationship between variables. Alternative hypothesis saying that states there is a significant relationship. So there is one numerical example also that is actually one of the evergreen questions. You can refer any one of the research methodology textbook. If you want, I will attach along with the description box. We can go through later on. Sampling is very important. You should know about the population and the sample. Okay, so we have a big population. From the population, you need to select the sample. Correct. This is my sample and this is my population. Sampling means selecting the subset from the population. That is called a sampling. There are different types of sampling. Systematic sampling. Every nth element is chosen for the systematic sampling. Stratified sampling implies population divided into groups and taken from each. That is called a stratified sampling. Cluster sampling in the sense entire cluster is chosen very randomly. That is called a cluster sampling. Non-sampling error is in the sense error which is measured or data entered. That is called a non-sampling error. Condition for valid sampling is says that each number has equal probability of selection. That is called a condition because we have different samples, right? So equal probability. Everybody is having equal probability, correct? So this is basically about the sampling. We should know the basics of sampling. Related to statistics and the probability. So should know about the mean, median, mode. Measure the central tendency. Basically, you should remember these are called a central tendency. What is mode? Mode is nothing but best for a categorical data, fitting the data, best parameter which is going to fit the data. That is called a mode. What is skewness? Indicates the asymmetry of the data. That is called skewness. What do you mean by standard error? Standard deviation of the sample mean is known as standard error. Central limit theorem is very, very important. Sampling mean approaches to normal distribution as the n increases. Try to write the equation. I am going to show you the equation at last. What is p-value? Probability of choosing H naught is true. That is known as p-value. I request everybody, please go through these points before appearing for the examination. From the hypothesis testing, you should understand what is t-test. Compare the mean of two small samples. That is a definition of t-test. What is z-test? Used to when population variance is known. That is known as z-test. ANOVA, that is also known as F-test, it is very important for the management studies. Compare the means of 3 or more groups. What do you mean by chi-square test? Checks if the observed data fit expected distribution. This you people might have studied during your BTech. F ratio between the group variance to the within the group variance. Between the group variance and within the group variance. If you take those two parameters, you are able to get F ratio. What do you mean by assumptions of ANOVA? Normal distribution, independence, equal variance. These are the assumptions. You may get a multiple choice questions based on these points. Request everybody revise it properly. Try to make a brief note. Today only you can do it. If exam is very nearer means you can make a note today and you can revise it. Regarding the probability distribution, the following topics are very, very important. What is binomial distribution? Number of success in a fixed independence trial is known as binomial distribution. There is one equation, probability of equation also there. Try to remember. Normal distribution, symmetrical curve, bell curve, that is very important. That is called the normal distribution. Mean is equal to median is equal to mode in normal distribution. You may get a question based upon this. Dash distribution shows mean equal to median equal to mode. You have to select normal distribution. What is Poisson distribution? Number of events in a fixed interval. That is called a Poisson distribution. What is hypergeometric distribution? Sampling without any replacement is known as hypergeometric distribution. Sure, I'm very sure that you may get 1 or 2 questions from this particular topic. So request everybody, if you wanted to clear, kindly refer it very systematically so that surely you can create data measurement. No, there are, how many scales are there? Yes, we have nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and a ratio scale. What is nominal scale? There is no order based upon the categories. What is ordinal scale? It is ordered category, no equal intervals. That is called ordinal scale. What do you mean by interval scale? It is ordered, equal interval. There is no true zero. What is ratio scale? It has true 0 point. Request everybody. These are the 4 important points. You may get at least 1 question in your objective type questions. Okay. Surely it will be happening in your examination, main examination. That's what I'm implying. Regarding the research concept, so study about what is conceptual framework. Diagram showing the relationship among the variable is known as conceptual framework. What is literature review? Identify the gaps of existing research. Suppose you are going to propose a new research, you should verify what are the existing work and you need to identify the gap. That's called extensive literature review or survey of literature or article review, something like that you can say. What is descriptive analysis? Summarize collected data. Inferential statistics, draw the conclusion about the population. Experimental principle is nothing but randomization, replication, and local control. Kindly remember these terminology. All are very, very important. Surely those questions will be asked. That is at the end of the part 1. If you clear part 1, definitely you are like one section is completed. So we have equal importance for core subject also. Your core subject is EEE, electrical and electronics subjects. So let us discuss what are the important points you must cover. Because this topic will be very easy because most of the people are teaching faculty members. Apart from that, most of the people are doing the research, like they may be doing the jobs in different companies. So they might have in touch with those core domain, of course, because most of the people are facing. I got one comment that research methodology is very difficult for all the candidates, but here it will be easy for you because you people are teaching. Some of the people are actually just completed the degree, so MTech they have completed. So such cases it will be easy for you. However, let me for a quick revision, I have prepared very short point which you can expect in the examination. So from the transformer AC machine, EMF per turn, that equation you have to remember 4.44 F into 5. Turns ratio equation N1 by N2 that is equal to V1 by V2. Otherwise, you can write N2 by N1 is equal to V2 by V1 is equal to I1 by I2 is equal to K. K is known as transformation ratio. If the value of K is equal to 50%, then it is known as isolation transformer. If K greater than 1, it is step-up transformer. K less than 1 means step-down transformer. Condition for maximum efficiency. Iron loss will be equal to copper loss. Voltage regulation. E2 minus V2 by V2 into 100%. That is called a voltage regulation. No load losses repeated by high value shunt resistance. Effect of increasing the excitation. Terminal voltage and terminal current is getting increased. These are the fundamental questions. Apart from that, you have to study about core type transformer, shell type transformer, then all day efficiency or output in kWh by input in kWh. Similarly, study some equations about conditions of maximum efficiency. There are some efficiency calculation. That is also very important. Similarly, some test you should remember. There are some performance tests. Okay. Try to remember. Subnet test is one of the example. Kindly go through those tests. That is more than sufficient to get a good score in transformer. From the electrical machine, especially like a DC machine. DC machine, you study about the torque of DC series motor, T proportional to phi into Ia for series motor. For shunt motor, flux is constant. We can write T proportional to Ia. Back EMF is nothing but phi Zn by 60 into P by A. That is actually the equation for back EMF. One more equation I can write it for motor. E is equal to V minus Ia into Ra. It is another equation of back EMF. Kindly make a note of that. Similarly, speed of DC motor can be written as N proportional to V minus Ia by Ia into R divided by phi. That means N proportional to EB by phi. N proportional to EB by phi. EB by phi, where EB is known as V minus Ia into Ra. This is one equation for EB. There is another equation that is phi Zn by 60 into P by A. Depends on the parameter. You may have to make use of those equations. Condition for maximum torque. Armature current limited by commutation. Then slip of the induction motor. Regarding the induction motor, slip is very important. Ns minus N divided by Ns into 100%. Synchronous speed is nothing but Ns equal to 120 F by P. There are two types of induction motors, slip ring induction motor and a squirrel cage induction motor. So if you want, you can visit the lecture series of basic electrical, which I already mentioned, or all the machines I explained in detail. So I'll share the link if you want. Power systems. So it is a very vast subject, you know. So go for like which is the severe most fault. Identify the severe most. Three-phase fault is the severe most fault. Line-to-line fault occurrence between 50% of the total fault. Most occurring fault. Then ABCD parameter. So A is the voltage ratio between sending end and receiving end network. You study two-port network. That is important. Dominant effect on long transmission line. Capacitance and inductance. Bus admittance matrix. Symmetric and sparse. Incremental transmission loss. That is a formula. So try to remember. Okay, power system operation and control one of the important topic. Similarly, optimality scheduling. Sigma like a sigma PG minus PD minus PL, that is equal to 0. Try to remember different type of buses. Slack bus, load bus, generator bus. Similarly, swing equation, that is also important. Then constraints in load dispatch, power balance equation. Apart from that, study about the type of transmission line, long, medium, and short transmission line. Study what is Ferranti effect. Okay, so those kind of topics are very, very important. In gate examination, you might have experienced. In control system, it's a huge, very vast stability criterion. Study the Routh criteria. You may get a question. Make sure that all elements are in the first columns are positive. Moreover, the number of sign changes in the first column will be equal to the number of poles present in the right half of S-plane. Correct. So no sign changes should be happen for the stable system. Marginally stable means, so there are some poles which are available in the origin. Here sustained oscillations are happening, no decay or growth. Gain margin, it is reciprocal of G of j omega, H of j omega at a phase equal to minus 180 degree. Phase margin is similar kind of parameter. That is one of the frequency domain specification. Additional phase required for the system go to verge of instability. That is called a phase margin. Try to write the equations as well. Centroid calculation in root locus. Sigma pole minus sigma 0 by number of pole minus number of zeros. That means number of branches in the denominator. What is Nyquist criteria? Encirclement. That is equal to minus of number of open loop pole minus number of right half of number of poles which are in the RHP, right half of S-plane. Apart from that, focus on difference between open loop, examples of open loop, examples of closed loop, then desirable features of a control system, block diagram reduction, then signal flow graph basics, Mason gain formula. So similarly, time domain specification, kindly go through that. Those equations are very important. Rise time, equation for rise time, equation for peak time, equation for settling time. Request you to go through that so that you can easily make a brief note on according to this slide. You can take a reference. Power electronics, that is also one of the vast subject. Study about different type of converter. What is buck converter, boost converter, buck boost converter, what is duty cycle, what is PWM. Similarly, special type of converter is resonant converter. It reduces the switching losses. Overlap angle increases, output DC voltage decreases, angle versus alpha and the relation between alpha and output voltage. Condition to remove fifth order harmonic. So keep the firing angle at 30 degree or 120 degree electrical. Study the relationship between electrical angle and mechanical angle. Triode for alternating current. So it triggers at an angle of 30 degree to 60 degree. Clamp diode in compensator protect the operational amplifier from the damage. Class B amplifier, the conduction angle is equal to 180 degree. So class A, class B, class C, that is also very important because most of the examination we have seen those kind of questions. Regarding the high voltage subject, it is typically for core electrical. Study the Parson's law. V is equal to functions of P and T. That is very important. So study the equations. Spear gap used to measure the peak AC, peak DC, and impulse voltage. You may get a single MCQ based upon this question. Vacuum circuit breaker uses the current chopping. Why it is required? Air circuit breaker, purpose of air circuit breaker. Formative time lag, shorter than statistical time lag. Difference between formative and statistical time lag. Those questions are very important. From the microcontroller, focus on 8051 microcontroller. Study different type of registers. Study the meaning of stack pointer. Then unsigned bit, signed bit. Then instruction J set. Then execution when the accumulator is equal to 0. Successive approximation SAR. Similarly, DAC, ADC, DAC. Those problems also very important. Similarly, addressing modes. Kindly go through addressing modes. Go through the architecture, basics of architecture. From the signals and systems and DSP, fundamental period, time to complete the full cycle for the period signal. What is the meaning of difference between periodic signal and aperiodic signal? What is power and energy signal? What is the meaning of like a causal system? Z transform. It is used for discrete time signal analysis. Z transform. What is the general formula? What is FIR filter? Inherently stable. What is sampling theorem? So this is a condition for sampling theorem. I found it is repeated for 5 times. In gate examination also, I have seen so many questions. When I was writing the gate examination, I have faced these kind of problems. DTFT integration limit. It is vary from minus pi to pi. Then aliasing effect, sampling frequency greater than twice the maximum frequency. This is also very important from the DSP. Apart from that, you may get a question from Fourier transform, properties of DFT. Those things also very important. Kindly go through those properties of DFT. Then the circular convolution, linear convolution, those topics also important. So rapid formula, for the formula, I have listed out. So power factor is nothing but ratio of real power divided by apparent power. That is very important. Now unit for power factor, transformer turns ratio. You can write like a V1 by V2 is equal to N1 by I2. Otherwise, you can write one thing, V2 by V1 is equal to N2 by N1 equal to, make sure that it is I1 by I2. That is equal to K. Similarly, copper loss, I square R loss, I square R, efficiency output by input into 100, regulation, no load, difference between no load voltage to the full load voltage by full load voltage into 100, gain margin is a formula, Nyquist criteria, encirclement is equal to number of RH poles. Sampling theorem, Fs greater than or is equal to 2 into F max. Very, very important. Kindly remember this. Similarly, impedance equal to R plus Ax. Magnitude of impedance, square root of R square plus X square. Theta is equal to tan inverse of X by R. These are the few important formula which I found it is very useful based upon the previous year question papers. So most likely asked questions are applied versus pure research, type 1 error, standard error, central limit theorem, correlation coefficient and meaning, two sample test, t-test, binomial and a normal distribution, FIR filter, resonant converter, 8051 stack pointer, Paschen's law, Y-bus formation by singular transformation method. Similarly, gain margin, phase margin, sampling theorem, ANOVA. These are the most likely questions. So this is more than sufficient to clear the VTU ETR for electrical and electronics engineering candidates. Surely, if you go through that, I promise you that you are going to clear. So kindly request you to like this video if you found it is useful. Kindly give your valuable suggestions and comment for the further improvement. Even I would like to have some research-oriented lecture series, how to make the papers, how to publish the papers, all those things based upon your requirement, I can do it. Even I request you to share the video, those who are preparing for the competitive examination, especially VTU, ETR, and a similar kind of examination. Request you to subscribe our channel for getting more updates about different type of core-related videos. I wish you all the very best for all the EEE professors and those who are working in different type of core sector job to clear and get their PhD, get started their PhD at the earliest. I can support you for the guidance once again. If you just share me your send a mail, I can revert you what is your interested area. I can guide you also. I wish you all the very best. Happy learning. Have a great day. Thank you.